Good morning, fifth grade. I'm here with our soap for today. The verse is Micah 6:8. It says, He has told you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. I know that last part of the verse about walking humbly with God should remind you of Mrs. Patnode's lesson yesterday with Daniel and how King Nebuchadnezzar was humbled when he um, had the vision about what was going to happen to him, and he was still prideful and ended up living out like an animal. But let's talk about this whole verse in general first. This whole chapter, Micah is a prophet, and he and God are talking back and forth about the people of Israel. And um, God starts off by reminding Micah and the people of Israel of everything that he has done for them. And the people of Israel have not been obeying. So he tells them all these things he has done. If you look at the beginning of the chapter, it says, "O my people, what have I done to you?" This is God talking. "And how have I wearied against you? Testify against me." That means, like, tell me why you aren't obeying me. "For I brought you up from the land of Egypt, and I redeemed you from the house of bondage, and I sent before you Moses, Aaron, and Miriam." And so he's saying, all these things that happened in Egypt, I brought you out of being slaves to the Egyptians, and yet now here you are, and you're not following me anymore. And then Micah replies and is asking God, everything that you want us to do, it's way too much. All these sacrifices, it's absolutely overwhelming. But he really exaggerates it. Kind of like we might with our parents, if they ask you, like, clean out the dishwasher. "Oh, I've cleaned out the dishwasher a million times. Why is it my turn to clean out the dishwasher?" Have you really cleaned out the dishwasher a million times? No. That would be like probably more than every day of your life. And that's kind of what Micah does in the next couple verses. He says, "Shall I come before him?" That's God. "Shall I come before God with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams? Will God be happy if I give him thousands of sacrifices, 10,000 rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul?" So now he's really going to the extremes. Like, do I have to sacrifice my kids in order to make you happy? And obviously, God never asks us that. It's kind of like what we do with our parents when we say, "Why is this my chore? Like, I've done a million things and I just want to play Roblox a little bit, and you're asking me to do the millionth chore." And really, we're just exaggerating everything that's been asked of us. So this is how God replies then in Micah 6:8, when he tells Micah, "I've basically only asked you to do three things." And we can take the whole Christian life, and sometimes it seems overwhelming with all the things that God asks us to do. But he just says, what does the Lord require of you? To do justice, to love kindness, to walk humbly with your God. So what do these three means, especially to do justice? To do justice means to act in a fair way. We want everything to be fair. But if we think about it, God is not fair with us, and that is amazing, because if God was fair with us, then we would deserve to be condemned to hell forever. But he's given us the opportunity to accept him, to become one of his children, to eventually go to heaven. But us to others, we need to be fair with them. The way that we want to be treated is how we should treat others. Then it says to love kindness. It's not just that we need to be kind, we need to love being kind. That is like our overwhelming thought. What can I do for someone else today? And I know on Wednesday we talked about the random acts of kindness that the school is asking everyone to do over the next week. What is something that you can do that you just start to love? The more you do it, the more you will like doing things for other people. If you're not in the habit of it, it might take a little bit, but we need to love to show kindness to other people. And the last one, walk humbly with God. Remember that it's God that's given us everything, all of our gifts, all of our talents, whether it's in academics, that school just comes really easy for you and you're good at math or language arts or reading. That talent comes from God. Your sports talents, cheerleading, hockey, baseball, soccer, basketball, football, volleyball, all those come from God. And musical talents, all of those come from God. And when we thank Him for those talents, that's showing that we are humble. When we pass the ball in soccer, when we when we give others an opportunity to help us, to be on a team with us, that's all part of being humble. So the soap there's a Google form for it, or you can write it out. You can email it to us. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Love you guys. Miss you. Bye.